Hi, my name is Leslie. Today we are going to present a screencast about leadership. This PowerPoint presentation provides a brief history overview of 5 key leadership theories. The first one, the gray man theory, the path goal theory, transactional and transformational theory, and lastly, the last part of this presentation with servant leadership theory. During the second part of this presentation, Gloriana is going to provide key characteristics of a follower and a leader and why these characteristics are necessary. Following Gloriana's presentation, the last part is going to be presented by Nelia, who is going to provide different effective strategies to make a transition from a follower to a leader. As I previously mentioned, I'm going to provide a brief history of 5 key leadership theories, but first I'm going to share some background history on how they started. Studies of leadership have occurred in distinct phases, starting from the gray man theory, which subsequently gave rise to the trade theory in the 1920s and 30s, through the situational and contingency theories of the 1960s and 70s. Next, in the 1980s and 1990s, come the model of heroic leadership based on being visionary, charismatic, or transformational. Today's leadership theory focuses on contemporary model of servant, share, or distribute leadership. The first theory is the classical model from antiquity. The gray man theory evolved around the mid-19th century. This theory assumes that the traits of leadership are intrinsic. That simply means that great leaders are born, they are not made. This theory sees great leaders as those who are destined by birth to become a leader. Furthermore, the belief was that great leaders will rise when confronted with the appropriate situations. The second theory is the path goal theory that adapts the leadership style to accomplish subordinate goals. Path goal theory had popularity in the 1970s. It's about how leaders assess followers and motivate them to accomplish their designated goal and provide the necessary direction and/or support to ensure that their goals are compatible with the overall objectives of the group or organization. The third theory is the transactional leadership theory, introduced by Max Weber in 1947 and then reiterated by Berman Bass in 1981, which used incentives to influence behavior. Transactional leadership is closely related to the role of a manager, which implies that leadership provides an exchange of reward for their employees' performance. For example, high performance is equal to ascending position, higher salary, bonuses, and more benefits. The fourth theory is the transformational leadership theory, identified by Burns in 1978. A leader leads by example and set the expectation, encourage learning and growth, coach and empower to success, and inspire to go to new heights. In the transformational theory, the leader inspires, challenges, enables, and encourages others to help people understand the need for change and involve them in transcending self-interest. Transactional and transformational leadership are two of the leadership styles that tend to be compared the most. They are polar opposites in management style, and it's important to know the differences when someone wants to manage others. Let's now look at the differences in the table. In transactional, the leader is responsive, and in transformational, the leader is proactive. Transactional work within the organizational culture versus transformational that change the organizational culture by implementing new ideas. Transactional motivates followers by appealing to their own self-interest versus transformational that encourage followers to put group interests first. What kind of leader are you? Transactional or transformational? The last leadership theory is the servant-lead theory, introduced by Robert Greenleaf in 1970, which considers individuals' interest in the decision-making process where organizational performance is secondary to the relationship between the leader and the follower. Servant leaders devote themselves to serving the needs of organization members, focus on meeting the needs of those they lead, develop employees to bring out the best in them, and listen and build a sense of community. This is the last part of my presentation where I discuss the great man theory, path goal theory, transactional, transformational, and servant theory. I'm going to leave you with this question. What kind of a leader are you? During the second part of this presentation, Gloriana is going to provide key characteristics of a follower and a leader, and why these characteristics are necessary.
Hi everyone, my name is Gloriana. I will be talking about leadership concepts and some key characteristics of leaders and followers. Among several concepts of leadership, we can include authentic leadership, relational leadership model, transformational leadership, leadership practices inventory, servant leadership, and emotionally intelligent leadership. A good leader is always defined as a person who have inspiration, integrity, clear goals, is a good example, have a clear vision, and talk in a clear language that give the opportunity to be clear and specific in communication with others. A leader is defined as someone who is concise, organized, focused, and possess good communication skills. An effective leader must have a large amount of information to bring, so it have to possess good communication skills in the clinical settings, with colleagues, and the teamwork. A follower is someone who supports and is guided by another person or maybe a group. Also is a person who likes and admires someone or something. Maybe in the clinical setting we can have a follower who admires their supervisor, clinical director, or maybe in the academic field we can have a student who admires a professor. Key characteristics of leaders and followers. We can mention some of them and we can see how those characteristics can be related to each of one of the leaders and the followers. Leaders' characteristics could include patience, humility, vision, ethics, tolerance, and courage. Follower characteristics includes personality, good communication skills, cooperative working in teamwork, team player, loyalty, honesty, and patience. How can we relate those characteristics of leaders and followers that we mentioned before in terms of daily experiences in the work settings, in the different work settings, in the daily basis. We can mention some examples, and I want to give some examples like supervisor and supervisee SLPA relationship, supervisor and clinical intern relationship, specific student, clinical intern student, that is very kind of different from the relationship of a SLPA with the supervisor. And in the academic field or academic setting, we can mention a professor and student relationship. In each one of those examples, we can see that followers in these scenarios, or in this case could be supervisee, clinical intern, or student, admires or want to be guided by the leaders, in this case supervisors or a professor. Why key characteristics of leaders are important? Because leader must recognize the entire team reaching and the pinnacle of success. Also, they need to recognize and accept differences in personality and individuality. Why characteristics of followers are important? Follower characteristics that are important include the ability and enjoyment of working with others in a cooperative way or in a team player. This is a characteristic that followers must possess. Honest, loyalty should be blind or limitless. Reviewing great men theory, a leader possess intelligence and an outgoing style of personality, ambition, and born as a leader. Moving to path goal theory, leaders and followers must possess directive. Leaders must be directive, have vision, set specific goals, and be perceptive. A follower must possess experience and knowledge in their area of work, needs personality, and be perceptive. In the transactional leadership theory, leaders improve productivity, be tolerant, initiate structure, and followers are trust, loyalty, and acceptance. In transformational, we can see that a leader possess vision and sense of mission, be passionate, inspirates, and have intellectual stimulation. A follower trust in the leader ideology, identification with leader, and be motivated. That's some clues about how do you know that you've become a true leader. And finally, with the servant theory, we can see that a leader must be empowering, put followers first, be patient, and humility. A follower must possess commitment, mutual trust, empathy with all team members.
Hi, my name is Nelia Garcia, and Gloriana just finished the discussion about leaders and followers' key characteristics. And now I will discuss strategies to transition from a follower to a leader. Followership, what is it? It means to have the ability to take direction well as part of a team and to deliver what is expected from you. A good follower is a thinker, a contributor, and a proactive supporter. Followership. What is really perceived from followership? It has a negative connotation and people think it is degrading. But how it should be perceived? It should be perceived as an ability to function effectively in a group. In order to become a leader, you must demonstrate an ability to follow and function effectively in a group. Why it is important? It is important because if fellowship fails, not much will get done, and it will translate into poor work ethics, bad morale, distraction from goals, unsatisfied customers, lost opportunities, high costs, product quality issues, and weak competitiveness. Now, I want to discuss the strategies to transition from a follower to a leader. One of those strategies is to encourage creativity. Followers need to express their creativity when challenges arise, and creativity is important for leaders, especially transformational leaders, because they must stimulate intellect and creativity among group members. Theories that encourage creativity are transformational, path goal, transactional, and servant. For example, one of the issues followers encounter in daily basis is poor time management. A follower could be creative, coming up with ideas to improve this area. Another strategy is to serve as a role model. Followers must serve as a role model because it results in admiration from other group members and even their leaders. If you want to be a leader, being a role model will gain admiration from your followers, and you will inspire them to follow you and have passion for what they do. As followers, we can achieve this by demonstrating strong ethics, clinical competence, and excellent interpersonal relationships at work. This trait or strategy is part of the transformational theory. Followers must be passionate. As a follower, share with group members and leaders how passionate are you about your work. People appreciate a genuine passion and enthusiasm for tasks at work. It can be contagious. And as a leader, you need to inspire your team members to become passionate and enthusiastic for the projects they work on. So they really care about the goal. This strategy is part of the transformational theory, and just as Steve Jobs did, he was very passionate of what he did, and he was very successful. Followers must listen and communicate effectively. Followers need to actively listen and communicate with other team members and their leaders to complete tasks in a successful manner. Conversely, leaders need to provide one-on-one communication with group members to ensure that every member makes a contribution, and also to provide recognition for their actions. One example that we can see this strategy is at work, at my workplace, we use the stop, ask, repeat, and confirm strategy to prevent errors. We are encouraged to stop what we're doing, ask questions to clarify processes, repeat the information, and confirm information with other team members to ensure that the correct message was conveyed between all parts. This practice is used to prevent errors or to prevent putting a patient in danger, like here in the image. It's very important for us, and as a leader, you need to be able to communicate with your followers and make sure that they understand the vision and the mission and the goal so they really can complete tasks on point. Followers must motivate others. Followers motivate others by being positive and optimistic, especially when challenges arise. This is part of the path goal transactional and transformational theories. And one example that we can prove that motivation to others is through team conferences. For example, Leslie is a supervisor, Gloriana is a clinician in an outpatient clinic, and myself work in the hospital setting. We can motivate other team members through the exchange of ideas in a conference with our leaders and team members. Followers, as us, can inspire others demonstrating passion for their work, sharing thoughts and ideas. Now, as a leader, this strategy is important because you can motivate followers, including them in the decision making process, listening to their ideas, sharing thoughts, and praising followers' good work. Followers must offer recognition. This trait or strategy is part of the transactional goal path and transformational theories. Followers can show appreciation to other team members by helping them and expressing recognition when they perform well. Leaders, in this case, must offer rewards and express recognition to followers when they perform well because followers feel appreciated and happy people tend to perform better. Other things that we can do as the followers transitioning to a leader is to try new things. Followers must get creative to improve processes or when trying to overcome a challenge. As a leader, you need to try new things to develop new ways to complete tasks, inspire, motivate, and reward group members. To be innovative and to think outside the box. Also, followers must have a positive attitude. Followers need to be upbeat and optimistic to inspire group members and even leaders. It is important to maintain a sense of hope in face of challenges. And both strategies are part of the transformational theory. And last but not least, you have to remember that the leader is one who mobilizes others toward a goal shared by leaders and followers. But leaders, followers, and goals, those three, are equally important supports for leadership. Everybody is important. Um, well, this was all, and thank you for your time.